You're listening to All in the Industry, an independent podcast dedicated to behind-the-scenes talent in the hospitality industry, hosted and produced by me, Shari Bayer. Since initially launching in 2014, we have broadcast more than 400 episodes, and now we're excited to be on our new platform. To learn more, visit allintheindustry.com. Support for this episode comes from the Institute of Culinary Education, ICE. To learn more, visit ice.edu today. That's ice.edu. Well, hello. Welcome to All in the Industry. I'm your host and producer, Shari Bayer, and this is our 411th episode of this series, which is dedicated to behind-the-scenes talent in the hospitality industry. Today, I have a very special show with a truly wonderful chef and restaurateur who is based in Copenhagen, who I had the privilege of sitting down with in person while I was visiting his city last spring. And yes, this show is way overdue to be broadcast, but I'm super excited to share it with you today. And I will introduce my guest fully in a moment. But first, as I do in every show, I will start with my PR tip, and then we will have my interview, and I will close out with my solo dining experience. As the founder of Bayer Public Relations, I'm going to tip the show off with my PR tip of the week. So today's tip is to be a curious individual. Have a desire to learn and understand how things work, and a willingness to ask questions and explore new ideas. Rather than be closed-minded, let's be open to new experiences, embracing a mindset that values learning and discovery. Being curious can not only lead to personal growth and increased knowledge, but a deeper understanding of the world, while perhaps making it more enjoyable. So let's strive to slow down a bit and listen, and always seek information, as curiosity can fill us up in ways unimaginable, and that's worth pursuing. That's my tip today. Okay, so as I mentioned, today I have a very special interview that I recorded last spring in 2024 while I was visiting Copenhagen, Denmark. And my conversation is with Bo Bech, a Danish chef and restaurateur whose restaurant Bobe is located in a cobbled city center square in Copenhagen in a very attractive townhouse, and it opened in late 2023. And I was able to visit shortly after its opening, which we talk about on this episode, as well as many other memories and experiences. And this interview is a little different. I'd say it's pretty personable. And for regular listeners, you may recall back in April 2018 that Bo was a guest on this show, episode 174, which we recorded in the backyard of Roberto's in Brooklyn in person while he was visiting New York City. And if you want to go back and listen to that episode, you can hear more about Bo's career and his background, as we don't dive much into that on this episode. And we also don't play a speed round on this show. So you can go back and listen to episode 174 and you can hear Bo's answers with my game. Now, a little more about him. He holds many titles. He's not only a chef, but he's an author, a TV personality, and he describes himself as a curious human being. This curiosity made Bo a trailblazer of the Nordic culinary movement. Bo first made his name at Restaurant Paustian, where he earned a Michelin star before setting up Geist in 2011 in Copenhagen. And also, if you'd like to go back to my episode 161, which aired in November 2017, my solo dining experience was at Geist. Bo recently had a baby, so he's a new dad, and I'm so happy for them. And I'm so grateful for the time that I got to spend with him. And what he shared. So thank you, Bo. And I'm going to leave it at that. So here you go, my conversation with Bo Bech in Copenhagen. And I will come back and I will share my solo dining experience at the end of the show. Enjoy. I'm leaving tomorrow and I feel I wish I had more time.
It's the best blessing a city can hear.
Yeah.
When you leave, that you feel you didn't have adequate amount of time, you know?
I really feel that way. And this is my 4th time in Copenhagen and that's a lot. And I know I'll be back, you know?
And of all places, Denmark.
Yeah.
A population of 6 million.
Yeah.
How beautiful that a little city like that, a little country like that can draw.
Remind me, where are you originally from?
I am, according to cab drivers, they believe I'm from Greece. But I'm born in Copenhagen, Denmark.
Okay.
In 72.
Yeah, we're in the same age group.
Yeah, that means I'm 52.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good year.
Yeah. Yeah. It was the year I was given.
Yeah. No, that's what I say too about my age. I can't change it. It is what it is. And
has it caught up on you?
How so?
Yes. I found that when I was opening this restaurant, when the process began opening Restaurant Bobe 7-8 months ago, when that process began and there wasn't even a name on it, that's when it hit me actually. It wasn't getting 50 that hit me. It was sort of like, oh, maybe this is the last
time you open a restaurant?
Yeah, maybe this is the last time. Because you aim to be successful, you want to succeed. I will for sure not be tired of this in 10 years. That means that hit me. Mm-hmm. Does it make any sense?
Yeah, no, it does. It does. I feel for me, I turned 50 last year. And then I hit all these milestones, like my company I started when I was 30. And so all of a sudden, a 20-year milestone. And it's like, how is that even possible? And then I'm like, well, I've been in New York for 25 plus years. And I started thinking, should I move just to have a different experience of life, you know? Or is this it? And I love living in New York, but you know, that sort of thing with being, wow, I've spent 25 years, the main part of my adult life living here. But yeah, it's interesting getting older.
Have you moved around in New York?
Not a lot. I've been in 2 apartments mostly the whole time.
That was one of the many great advices I've been given when coming to New York in the beginning, was not to fall in love with one certain hotel, but sort of change the geography in a way. Yeah. So you attack the city completely different. And it's kind of weird if I sit here and say, hey, do you want to go to Dragsholm Slot, which is 45 minutes from here? Any normal Dane would just say, yeah, it's a bit too much. Or like go to Louisiana to look at, that's a day journey, you know?
Yeah.
And in New York, if you're downtown and you're going uptown, and if you're a tourist, most tourists don't do the train, you can sit in a car for 45 minutes like this.
Yeah.
So you have, I think what I'm trying to say is, within the city, there's so many cities, and depending on where you get dropped in, that becomes your view, your experience of that city, in a way.
Yeah, well, okay. So now I know next year I'll be moving. No. I mean, I said it myself, like seeing things in a different way. And New York is an amazing place to live. But it's, yeah. It's
I think what I'm also, and apologies for interrupting, what I'm referring to is your daily routines that you don't even reflect on anymore. You go up, you go to the gym, you go up, you have a morning coffee, you read the newspaper, or you walk your dog, whatever it is your rhythm is, and what kind of musicality that you go through during a day. You stop forgetting these little moments because it's so much incorporated into your genes and your body rhythm.
Yeah.
When you change that, all of a sudden you look at it. You know, when you come back to this, are you going back to the States?
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll probably notice a new store has opened, something changed. But if you'd stayed home, you barely wouldn't have seen it.
No, it's true. Well, I noticed that a lot in New York, just walking around and going in different neighborhoods and traveling. Well, that's the thing. I travel a lot and I love traveling, but I like going back to New York. And then you see the changes, you notice it.
May I ask a question before you start asking me questions?
Sure.
What are the 3 musts I must do when I come back?
You must text me.
Done.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. You text me and we can meet for a bite somewhere.
Yeah.
What must you do? You must go to Central Park.
Food-wise.
Food-wise.
And no politics.
You must go to, what am I excited about these days? Well, John George just opened a great new place.
Yeah.
425 Park Avenue. There's a new seafood, the guys who do, I'm just thinking what's fresh in my mind. They have a place called Claude, a wine bar. Mm-hmm. They just opened a place upstairs called Penny. Mm-hmm. I think you'd really like it. Yeah. It's an open kitchen, chef's counter, and it's seafood based, all seafood.
Yeah.
And that was delicious.
Yeah.
You might be curious in Brooklyn to try Illis.
Yeah, of course I would.
Yeah. When was the last time you were in New York?
I was in New York a little over a year ago.
Okay, so you're due.
Yeah.
I was at the chef's counter in the front.
Opening hours, or were you...
A few weeks in.
Yeah. He's such a talented chef.
The design itself is worth seeing because it's built out of this warehouse space and it has a giant open kitchen in the middle that's visible from any seat, and it's the centerpiece of the restaurant, and it's special. So yeah.
What about rejuvenating Blanca?
Oh yeah, I actually recently went. Yeah. Victoria Blaney's there. It was nice to be back in the space, and when we did our first interview, it's a little good segue, at Roberta's in the backyard, and Blanca's the backyard of that.
Do you still go through the pizza, past the radio station, cross the beer garden, cross the flamingos, down the stairs into the covette seats?
Yes.
Yeah.
They still have the seats, which might be the best seats ever.
And the shark is still there?
The
shark on the wall? Or is it a dolphin?
They changed the decor a little bit, but the setup's the same. And yes, that is how you get there. However, you could skip that. You could kind of just go from the little sidewalk in.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I would recommend walking through Roberta's and taking that journey because it's a journey. And also, tasting menu-wise, I went to Aska.
Yeah.
That was really, really excellent. Freddie's place, and... Yeah, we're spoiled in New York. Pizza, Una Pizza Napolitana, if you haven't been there.
Yeah, I've been.
We have some good new slice places, too.
And then you have 1,000 sushi counters.
Oh, well, the sushi as well.
Yeah.
Place you might not know of, I'll give a shout out to Sushi Ishikawa.
Ishikawa?
He now has 2 locations, but it's on the Upper East Side on 74th Street, and it's excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there, we have a few places.
I need to come back.
And burgers are big, right? Well, burgers
have always been big.
A few new big places. But let's talk about you. Let's talk about...
What do you want to know?
Okay, so...
How was it last time you were here?
Oh my God, fantastic.
2,000 years ago.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I felt so spoiled to be at the best seat in the house at the pass, and then the bestest seat in the house in the kitchen. Like, it was just a double whammy. And your food is beautiful, excellent. I'm hoping to grab a bite here now before I leave because you are extremely talented and this place is gorgeous.
Thank you so much.
No,
I'm
congratulations.
Blushing. I'm blushing now.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah,
Bright red.
yeah.
Now, our little rosy cheeks now.
Yeah.
Okay, so we did our interview back in 2018. I looked back. It was April.
In 18?
18.
I thought it was back in 16.
According to looking it up, it was 18. And then it brought back the memories. I think it was April 2018, and then I had been in Copenhagen in 2017, and I went to Geist. I didn't meet you then, and then I came back after that in 18 to go to the MAD conference, and I remember seeing you on the street, and we knew each other then. So, and now I came back in December 2023, and I came here to your new restaurant. So our listeners can listen to our first interview, which would get us up to 2018. But talk a little about what's happened now in the past 6 years, because you closed Geist and then we had pandemic. And what inspired you to open, and you say Bobe?
I say Bobe.
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 Boba.
Bobe. And in a way, it's you want something that's phonetic in a way that just has a punch to it. It's for the super clever ones, they figured out it's a short version of my name, Bo Bech.
I figured that out.
But if I put my name on Bo Bech, it sounds like it's a fine dining restaurant. And whether this is a bistro, a brasserie, a cafe, a restaurant, I just want something that's a little bit alive, a lot alive. I want a lot of transformation. I want the ball constantly to be rolling, and I'm not afraid of standing still either. I just want a very personal place. And what happened was, all of a sudden, out of the blue, a former acquaintance called me and said, listen to me, Bo, I found this iconic place. It's a 500-year-old building. It's on cobbled. It's been known by one family for 50 years. And the brainchild of it all died, the father. And the son had decided this was not for him anymore. And he wanted to pass it on. He just didn't want to give it to anyone.
Yeah.
And we went through that process, and it took almost 7 months because it was I think it was very hard for him, because imagine this is where you ran, where you played, where you fell, where you kissed you first, these things. And then I took it over, and then I went to a brutal rebuilding process, because when you touch something that's 500 years old, the amount of surprises that will hit you, it's like going to Niagara Falls, But I'm here. I'm smiling. I'm happy. And we opened in game season, and it's one of the few things we have left of the wilderness in a way. So I decided to be very rough, very brutal in the cooking style. I wanted just to have the pheasant on the plate, or the tray, or the pigeon, or the duck, or the hare, or whatever piece of meat it was. And now we've moved into spring, even though it feels like winter still here. On my bike ride this morning, I could see that the woods are starting to get green. So now asparagus has arrived, and all of a sudden the kitchen is changing for the third time, because it's becoming light, it's becoming delicate. It's a little bit like with the weather. When it starts to warm up, then you want lighter things. You get rid of the heavy sauces. You want some vinaigrettes, something just to make it juicy and delicious. And then it's an ongoing process of getting to the end goal of getting Bobe to be what Bobe is supposed to be. And Bobe is supposed to be a lively restaurant that's open for lunch and dinner. It has a wine bar that we're sitting in right now and talking. Currently, that is open Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The restaurant is open 7 days a week. Then we have a PDR, a private dining room, also connected to it. So there's a lot of spaces where you can have so many different experiences in this house.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to get a grasp on, in a way, to figure that out. And shortly, what do you call this outside in English? The
Scaffolding?
Scaffolding. That's getting down, and then I'm looking forward to creating an outdoor space where we're going to have enough space for 50 people. So you can sit outside, eat in the center of the city. There's no cars, there's no nothing.
Yeah, this location it's spectacular. You are smack in the middle of the city and cobblestone streets, and it's like this beautiful courtyard area.
It's very
amazing.
It's very close to H.C. Andersen, the fairy tale, in the spirit of the place. Yeah.
Well, and it has so much character. What do they say? Like good bones to the restaurant. Like just sitting here, I mean, I want to move in. I felt that when I was here in December. Like I was here with a couple of friends and we didn't want to leave. Like it's just, it's a really beautiful, special property. And what you've done, your vision, or is really
to put some
wonderful.
Words on it in a way. There was a old wood floor. It's been here for I think 35 years. It's so, how do you say, torn down? No, not
worn.
Worn down.
Yeah.
When you put a table on it, if someone moves it for 2 seconds, it's gonna wobble like. It has 3 huge fireplaces around the 1,000 square meters.
And the smell, the woods you're burning is just that itself will draw anyone in.
I love that when people can see us cook, but I love even more that the chefs can see who they're cooking for. I think it gives a balance of quality in this exchange of energy.
Yeah, that's cool. I love that. And you're talking about the season change and with spring coming and all the vegetables. When I was here in December, though, we had a lot of beautiful, amazing vegetables.
Yeah, but
it's a little different.
No, you're completely right. It's because the what you have to imagine that you don't get anything new for 6 months.
Yeah.
So once we hit around September, October, that's approximately the last things we get. Then there's cabbage and stuff like that. Then those 6 months until now, it's the same.
It's the same. So now
it's
new
root
things
vegetables.
are
now
blossoming.
Everything is blossoming up again. It's you're reminded of I think it's next week or then in 2 weeks. It looks like now spring finally will arrive. What happens to this city, Copenhagen, or in Denmark, when we've been hidden away from the sun for so long, is all of a sudden, all the streets are going to be swamped with people. And they're going to go to the harbor and jump into water. They're going to sit in the night sun and drink rosé or a juice or something. It's like, where were all these people? All of a sudden, it's like boom. It's boom. and it's the most beautiful thing.
Yeah, I feel I get a little of that in New York because people do hibernate a bit in the winter, and then beautiful days, all of a sudden the park is packed and everyone's on bikes. We get on bikes too. A little different culture here and there, but no,
Biking is also a lot about respect.
Yeah.
From the car's point of view.
Well,
Do you want some more coffee?
Yes, please, thank you. I need to come back during that time of year. I've only been here when it's been a bit chilly or a lot chilly. And I would like to jump in the water. I'm not going to do it today.
No.
But I've seen pictures and it looks magical. Copenhagen's a really special city. There's a reason I think I keep coming back. I think a lot of it has to do with the restaurants and the people here. And the people, I feel there's so much passion for what you guys do.
But you also have you have the ultimate key, the matrix key. You're the key maker because you've charmed your way into all these beautiful craftsmanship restaurants, where you come, sit first row, you look at these souls, and because you water that plant, you get the energy back that you deserve. Because what you give, you get back. Other guests, when they go to a restaurant, if they arrive as a judge and they cross their arms and they come in and what can you do for me? Then they get that energy, If you're interested, karma gives back,
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I'm going to cry. I don't know. It's like, I think sometimes how I got here and why I'm here and why do I do this? And it's in me. I don't know. I love going to restaurants. I love talking to chefs and having delicious food and the experience of a restaurant. And I think solo dining is something that, it's not something I set out to be this solo diner that goes to restaurants around the world, but lifestyle-wise, working for myself and interest in restaurants, started traveling more. And I find as a solo diner, you really get this amazing experience that's different than if you're with someone because you're completely focused on being there at the restaurant and enjoying and taking in all that you guys provide.
Plus, I think I read a couple of months ago, the ultimate sign of confidence
is solo dining.
Is to go out, eat at a restaurant alone. It's the proof that you've arrived,
Listeners, I've arrived. Yeah, it's interesting because people, even though I think more and more people dine today by themselves than they did 10, 15 years ago. But I still get people saying to me how brave I am for, they'll be like, I can never do that. I'm like, yes, you could.
Of course you can.
Yes, you could. You make a reservation, you show up. It's not hard.
Listen, you told me just before we went on air, you told me you're going to eat at one of my favorite chef, Bo, that has a Luca tonight.
Yeah.
And he comes here so often, also alone, and to go at his restaurant, you sit right in front of the counter. He has a high table, a little bit like the one over there, and you sit there and you see the chef sweating in a positive way, chopping, being excited and full of energy. What's better?
No, I'm excited. I remember in 2018 they just opened, and I was there with a group of people who were here for the MAD conference. Yeah, it's my type of place, as your place is my type of place.
Yeah.
I mean, I love restaurants.
Maybe you should bring Bo
here.
And then come here and eat desserts after you've eaten there.
I'll ask him. I'm going to maybe drop your name.
Oh, he's a charming man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's wonderful to hear.
Yeah. And he's a wizard with... he's the closest we get to Just Neeland in Copenhagen.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's very special to be here with you, and that we've gotten to know each other a little bit over the years. And yes, I guess it comes from me dining at your restaurant and meeting you in New York too. So how has it been since you've opened? Are people coming here? Is it mostly Copenhageners? Is that a word? Copenhageners?
You just made it a word.
I like making up words.
Yeah.
Locals? Are tourists coming? People probably follow you. People, you're kind of a big deal.
I don't know. It's I think a lot of things. The challenge of opening a restaurant is the first year, basically.
Yeah.
Because you have the hardcore diners, the foodies that need to know. They need to have it in their library. They need to be the ones that are first. Of course, they all come. They fly in from anywhere. That's their luxury. They've been giving that golden spoon. But I would say predominantly, so far, it's Copenhageners that comes here, so far. And then I think the tourism slowly starts to pick up, where I can see I'm a part of the route that people are coming. They're going to eat at Noma. They're going to eat at Sanchez. They're going to eat at Geranium or Alchemist or where you were last night. They're going to eat those places. And then those places so graciously, as I did when I saw you, ask, hey, where did you go to? You know what? You should go there.
Yeah.
And that's the level we are at right now. I think maybe in the summer, then finally we're getting to where tourism starts coming, and it just goes slightly up constantly, So it's a beautiful journey.
Yeah.
And nerve-wracking.
Really
Yeah.
I mean, different today than...
The biggest difference is that I'm the sole owner. I'm completely alone.
Is this the first time?
This is my second time.
Okay.
But with the scale of this size, it's a do you say deal breaker? The scale of it is so huge that, to be very honest, which I always am, it feels like I'm crossing Sahara, and I believe I have enough water, but I still don't know if I have enough water to cross the desert.
You have enough water. And if you need more water, I'll give you... No, I hear you. I hear you.
In that sense.
Yeah.
Because when you open a restaurant, and if you are a character, a profile, you've been around for 30 years cooking, blah, 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 then when you open a restaurant at the age of 52, what you wake up to is a lot of people are having so many ideas about what it should be, what it shouldn't be, what it could be, directions, instead of just accepting, hey, there's someone that opened a restaurant. It's going to be fun to follow them. It's going to be fun to see what are they figuring out. It's a little bit like watching a kid grow up. They have to play around in a way. But when you've done some icons of restaurants before this Geist, before this Paustian, the expectations build up, and it's almost like it steals. It goes in front of you before you even arrive.
Yeah, expectations.
Expectations. Sorry, that was the word I was looking for.
No, you said that. You said expectations. I mean, expectations is interesting because as a diner, I feel it's much better to go into a restaurant with low expectations or just neutral. When you go in with such high expectations, possibility you're more easily disappointed or just not living up to it. So it's hard, I think, with people coming in here, their expectations from your longevity in the industry. Your
also the reason why
expertise.
I mention it is I bicycled 55 kilometers this morning, and the surrounding outside lines, like I bicycled to Dragør. It's so beautiful, amazing once you get out of the city. And I thought about this thing about when I go and eat, I arrive, and what I'm searching for is energy. I'm searching for, I want to be in a house where someone wants to be there themselves. That's the sole most important thing for me these days. When I was younger, it was about, hey, you have to impress me. I don't have that much money. I don't go out and eat that much. So it's really costly for me. So I need to learn something from this meal that I then can copy or learn from and then adapt into my craftsmanship. That was sort of the success rate. Now, the last 15 years, it's foremost, the most important thing is the person that I'm out eating with, or the persons that I want to have fun. I want to have fun.
Yeah.
I want to have enjoyable conversations. And then I want to be interrupted once in a while with some food and some wine or a cocktail. And if it's good enough, it will catch my attention from the conversation. And depending on what kind of, now we're talking mid-range segment of restaurants, like Bobe here is.
Yeah.
And it's just like a melting pot of so many things,
Yeah, no, I love it. And I feel if I lived here, it's a place you could be a regular at, and you should be a regular at. I would be a regular at, because it's good dining out and mixing it up. The super fine dining, tasting menu experiences, they're special. I can't do them all the time there, but this is a place I think you created where people will come back again and again. And your food is amazing, and the service, it's an elevated experience, but it's also like accessible.
Yeah.
And comfortable. You're welcome. And I'm happy for you. I'm proud of you. I feel like it's like your own, I know it's weird to say, but it's like your own like evolution of like where you are today. And every time in this few days or whenever I mention that I'm coming here and your name, I mean, you're extremely well liked, well respected. Everyone says hi.
Thank you.
You've made it. No, you're welcome. I really mean it. And I feel honored to be here with you. And I've been asking chefs about their chef advice, because the book I have out, Chef Advice, and I love hearing what chefs, want to share as like a number one tip, maybe with someone listening.
Food.
It could be anything. It could be for a young person listening who are thinking maybe I want to be a chef. Maybe I want to be a restaurateur. What's something you've learned?
I'm going to shoot a couple of quick ones.
Okay.
Don't get scared and confused just because everyone else seems like they figured it out. Just because you don't know what's going to happen to you, don't get scared. Just keep pushing. Keep doing something.
That's
and
great.
See what happens.
Yeah.
The other thing, if we talk about food, stop being so focused on performing. Just begin. Just cook. Even if it's just dried pasta, boiled in water, with that beautiful can or bottle of tomato sauce, then start like, provoke that. If it's a garlic, if it's a rosemary, whatever it is. And then later on you can twerk it, tweak it, tone it down, tone it up. But just get started. Don't overthink it so much. Just begin. It's with everything. Just begin. And
I love it.
Lastly, I would say Keep your integrity strong.
Excellent.
Don't lie to yourself.
Yeah.
Be honest. Thank you.
That was a high five. Thank you. I don't even have words. You're awesome, and awesome isn't the right word. Like, I feel excited for my lunch coming up. Something. What do you
want to eat?
That was my question. What are you most excited about today, as of this hour, that I should eat? Then I'm going to have the asparagus for lunch, and
I'm going to go up, set a table.
Okay.
You can shut down here. You come up. Then we'll cook you 2 asparagus dishes.
Okay.
You enjoy that. I'm going to jump into my next meeting.
No,
don't be. I always love talking to you.
I love talking to you.
And it will never end. It will be a continuation.
Yes.
Yes.
Always.
And I'll catch you on the back end of the asparagus.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Do you want to sit and eat in the kitchen?
Sure.
Good. I would love one.
Okay.
See you shortly.
Yes.
Good.
Bye. For all you aspiring chefs, bakers, and food entrepreneurs out there, have you considered taking your passion to the next level? Maybe you dream of opening your own restaurant, becoming a pastry chef extraordinaire, or even a sommelier. Whatever your culinary aspiration, the Institute of Culinary Education, ICE, can help you turn it into reality. At its campuses in New York City and Los Angeles, ICE offers fast-track programs in a variety of areas, from culinary arts to pastry and baking, to restaurant management, hospitality management, and even sommelier training. And you can graduate in as little as 8 months. Did you know that some of the top-name chefs and industry professionals that you've met right here on All in the Industry are ICE graduates? That's right. Stars like Gail Simmons, Andrew Ridgie, and Missy Robbins all hone their craft at ICE. Ready to pursue your dreams and find your culinary voice? Visit ice.edu today. That's ice.edu. Welcome back to All in the Industry. I'm your host and producer, Shari Bayer, and my guest today is chef and owner Bo Bech of Bobe Restaurant in Copenhagen, Denmark. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Bo, which took place in spring 2024. My apologies to Bo for the long gap between our conversation and airing it today, but I'm so grateful for your time and my experiences at your restaurants and enjoying your food, and I can't wait to come back, and I greatly appreciate your hospitality and wish you all the best. And I hope to meet your little one day in the future, but I'm super happy for you. Okay, so it's time for my solo dining experience. So this week it's at Le Doyenné. So here's the rundown. The location: 5 Rue Saint-Antoine, 91770, Saint-Vrain, France. The concept: it's a potager to table restaurant and guest house. And it's in the French countryside, 41 kilometers south of central Paris, within the historical grounds of the Château de Saint-Vrain in the village of the same name. And the chateau was once a country retreat of the Countess du Barry and Bourget family, and it's been the home of the Montmartre family for more than 2 centuries. And it's a really special property, and I was thrilled to get to go. So the chef and owners are 2 Australian chefs, James Henry and Sean Kelly, and they have restored and converted the space and dining room in its gorgeous barn. And the chef who was running the kitchen when I was there that night was Corey Hess. So why did I go? Well, I met James and Sean at the world's 50 best restaurants last year in Las Vegas, and I heard amazing things about their restaurant. So when I was visiting Paris in late February for my birthday, I was like, let me see if I can make this happen, and I did. So my experience: I reached out to James and asked him when he thought it was best to go. I was thinking of doing a day trip for lunch, which is totally doable, but I decided to get the full experience and spend the night because they have this beautiful property. So I got there by car and I arrived on the last day of my trip coming from Paris in the late afternoon. And once I arrived, I checked into my room at their guest house. And then I walked around the property a little bit through the garden and the greenhouse. And soon the sun was going down and I went to the dining room, which is in this French farmhouse space. And I sat first by the fireplace in a little loungy area amongst some other diners and enjoyed a non-alcoholic aperitif. And then I was brought to my table, which was at the far end of the dining room, right by the open kitchen. And I could see all the action. And dinner was a few hours long. It was a tasting menu, and everything ran really smoothly and was delicious. And I had a lovely time. And after my meal, I took a tea to my room and had a good night's sleep. And then I woke up early in the morning and was the first one at breakfast, which, if you know me, does not happen often or ever. I usually sleep through breakfast, but I wasn't going to miss this. And I had some time to enjoy some pastries and coffee before catching my car to the airport to head back home. And that was wonderful. And I missed James, which I was sorry about, but Sean was there as well as their fabulous team, and they took wonderful care of me. So that was my experience. And at dinner, what did I get? So I started with an aperitif, as I said, a sans alcohol drink. And that was a nice way to toast the evening. And then the menu was a tasting that I believe they catered to each guest a little differently. As a solo person, I think a few of the courses were more suited for a solo diner versus a larger table. It started with winter baba juan and a surprise brioche. I had a fantastic spread of their charcuterie and freshly made bread. And there was also a hand-dyed scallop dish, as well as garden crudité, a leeks dish, and a celeriac gratin from the garden. There was a cheese course that I skipped because I had plenty of food, but I did not skip dessert, which included hazelnut choux pastry from Piedmont with kumquat and cedrat Adams apple. And I apologize for my pronunciation of dishes, but it was all fantastic. And highlights included the charcuterie, the vegetables, the leeks, the scallops, and the dessert. And it was a good amount of food. I left full, but not too full. So the ambiance. It's a gorgeous farmhouse with glass from floor to ceiling, and so has lots of natural light coming in during the day. And it has a fireplace on one side and just really high ceilings. And it's grandeur with a country style feel with wood tones. And it's just really welcoming. It's the type of place you walk in, you just immediately want to take a picture. At least I want to take a picture. A really special setting in this historical chateau. And the property itself has 11 unique guest rooms, all designed with a blend of contemporary and vintage styles, with the perfect touches. Just a place you want to stay. I'd say it's perfect for going solo or on a date. And you can plan your trip maybe in the summer, and there will be abundance of vegetables and more produce for you to enjoy. Interesting tidbit, the restaurant is currently ranked number 70 on the world's 50 best list. Yes, 50 best ranks all the way to 100. Personal fun fact. So on this trip, when I was in Paris, some of the other places I dined at were Daniel Rose's La Bourse et la Vie. He's also the chef of Le Coucou in New York City. and I'm a fan. I also went to 2 Chef-Wise Chef restaurants, and actually it's 3 Chef-Wise Chefs because there are 2 chefs who have mocha nuts, which is one of my favorite restaurants in Paris, and I had a lovely lunch there, which is Moko Hirayama and Omar Koretam's restaurant. And they were both there, and I had the best squab, and of course left with Moko's cookies. And I also had a very elegant and delicious lunch at Le Clarins, which is Christophe Pillet's restaurant, and I met him for the first time, and that was really special. And I'm getting all these chefs to sign my one copy of my Chef-Wise book, which is my prized possession. Also in Paris, I went to Dandelion, I went to Restaurant Ventre, I went to Maison Sota, all wonderful. And for my birthday, I splurged and went to Table Bruno Verjus, or Table, which is number 3 on the world's 50 best list. And that was a really special experience. And Bruno was there, and I got to spend some time with him. I also went to an award-winning cocktail bar called the Little Red Door, and I had a nice time there. And of course, I also had pastries. I always go by Pan du Ides, if I'm saying that correctly, probably not, but it's pretty famous. And I went to 10 Bells as well. So those are some of the highlights from my Paris trip. The cost of my meal at Le Doyenné was €146. That's including my drink. Would I go back? Yes, I would love to. Hopefully when James is there and it's in full bloom season. So their website is ledoyennerestaurant.com, and their Instagram is at le_doyenné restaurant_, and spelling is LE, new word DOYENNE. And go check it out. It's really spectacular. And congratulations to Sean and James and the whole team there. Everyone was so welcoming, and it was a very special experience. So thank you so much. I can't wait to return. And that is the show. Thanks so much to Bo Bech for joining me on this episode. Again, my apologies for the delay in its broadcast, but I so appreciate the time that I got to spend with Bo, and that I've been able to experience his restaurant, Bobe, more than once, and I can't wait to go back. And if anyone's in Copenhagen, I highly recommend going. I imagine he now has those seats set up outside in the courtyard so you can do some al fresco dining while it warms up in Copenhagen for a couple months in the summer. So I've heard. So thank you so much, Bo. Come see me in New York. To find out more, go to his website, which is restaurantbobe.com. That's restaurant, BOBE. And on Instagram, he's at Bo Bech. That's BOBECH. And at Restaurant Bobe. You can follow me at Shari Bayer at Bayer PR and at All Industry. My YouTube channel and Facebook page are All in the Industry. And you can find all of our shows at allintheindustry.com and listen wherever you find your podcasts, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And if you get a moment, if you could leave us a review, that would be fantastic. It will help more people find our show. You can check out my other websites, BayerPublicRelations.com and ShariBayer.com, and my book, Chef-Wise, Life Lessons from Leading Chefs Around the World by Phaidon, is available wherever books are sold. Thanks to the Institute of Culinary Education, ICE, for their support of this episode. To learn more, visit ice.edu today. Many thanks to my engineer, Armin, and again to Bo. I'm your host and producer, Shari Bayer. I'll be back soon with a new show. Hope you'll tune in then. And thank you, as always, for being part of All in the Industry. Bye. All in the Industry is an independent podcast hosted and produced by Shari Bayer. Follow us on Instagram at All Industry and on our Facebook page and YouTube channel, All in the Industry. Subscribe to our show wherever you listen to your podcasts so you don't miss any new episodes. To learn more, visit allintheindustry.com.